Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting. It's Christmas week, so I hope everyone is having the best of times. Your main man Andy Gillard here.
Hi everybody, Matt Guy here. If you've left it this late, there's no one else to blame but yourself.
How many people really do leave it this late now? I mean, I'm done and dusted by the end of November. It's asking for trouble, because you know that, especially with the post and all the nonsense that's going on, you know that something's going to get missing, and how are you going to explain it to them, especially if it's kids, or if it's worse, it's your wife. Just get it over and done with. If you leave it to the last minute, you deserve everything you're going to get, and you are going to get Krampus. Hello, everyone.
You'd be amazed. I used to work at JJB Sports, which I don't think even exists anymore, which makes me feel really old. And we used to get people, it was always men coming in on Christmas Eve buying anything. Just like literally anything they could fucking see. They would just grab, like, doesn't even matter if it was in their wife's size or whatever. They'd just buy any old shit because they'd left it to the last second. It was ridiculous. Every fucking year, without fail, you'd get just this mad rush, and then by about 2:00, it would die off completely.
I mean, I used to go out on Christmas Eve just to go and buy something, just for a laugh, just to like people watch, just to see how desperate they are. I mean, you're walking around Sainsbury's just to get a Mars bar or something, just so that you're in there, just to get the mood and everything like that. And then so you could do that, and then you could down the pub afterwards, and you go in there, and then it'd be everyone in there, then stressing that they haven't got everything, and then going back to Sainsbury's to get more. I don't understand it. I don't get the mentality. I'm not the most organised person in the world, but when it comes to things like this, you have to be.
Yeah, agreed. I think I've got pretty much most of my stuff done by the end of November, to be honest. By the odd, Amazon bargain that you see pop up, so you think I'll just grab that. But as Matt pointed out, don't be a fucking idiot. It's your own fault if you leave it to this late. So the World Cup is over, and congratulations to Spain. Well done to Brazil. France were fantastic. Football came home and England won. I will delete as applicable when we get there. So the big releases this week, really there's only one, and it's all about you, Stu. It is Avatar: The Way of the Water. We've spoke about this one ad nauseum. Matt, is this a day one, or is this a 1 day for you?
Oh, 100% a 1 day. The only thing that excites me about this is I was playing that stupid Netflix trivia game that had come out a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And one of the questions on hard mode was, what is the name of the substance on Avatar? And I was like, oh, that fucking stupidly titled unobtainium. That's literally the only thing that registered Avatar on my consciousness. No, I couldn't give two shits about this, to be honest.
Do you know what species they are?
Smurf. I don't know.
No,
fatal, wouldn't it?
Not a clue.
Navi. Should know this. But...
I probably should. Honestly, I've seen the first one once, and that was more than enough for me.
We'll get an Avatar game as well next year. Can't wait.
That probably has the capacity to be decent because of the colourfulness and that of it in an interactive mode won't be terrible. But I don't know. I just don't. I mean, listen. I've fought my corner about enough films on this podcast with you two disliking it, and you've been polite enough to be like, if it's for you, it's for you. So, Stu, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. It's a terrible film. If it does it for you, that's fine. But by gum, it's not really for me.
I mean, I don't know. I know one. Well, mainly because she watched it with me as well. But I don't know anyone who loves Avatar as much as I do. And most people hate it. And there's not many people who kind of, okay, yeah, it's all right. I think because of the 3D-ness of it all, and it was a bit of a gimmick at the time, however impressive it was, no one actually loves it as much as me. And I don't really I mean, I kind of love Transformers in a kind of ironic way. But even I can acknowledge that it's shit. But I ain't having no bad stuff saying about my Avatar. No, I'm not having it.
My Avatar.
I remember at the time when we came out, I said, I love this more than Star Wars.
Do you still believe that?
Just an obscene comment, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
No, because now we have Rogue One and Andor, so no, that's not possible.
Like, where does Avatar sit in your top 10? Is it in your top 10? Like, how
It's in my
highly
top
are we
5.
talking?
In what sense? Of films or like kind of things?
Films, your favourite films.
I mean, if you're talking favourite films, it's in the top 5 easily. If you go like franchises, you got Fast and Furious, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. You could, well, now there's more than one of them. It can be in there. But yeah, and then Transformers, I suppose. But yeah, it is. And I don't know why I love it as much as I do. I just do. And yeah, I waited so long for this that I will not accept it being bad. It'll break me.
What if it comes out and it's like fucking episode 1, Star Wars Phantom Menace? What if they really shit the bed on it?
I mean, I haven't seen a single second of any trailer, so I'm going in completely blind. I don't know anything about it other than the name. So,
in fairness, it looks beautiful. Like, the actual visuals to it, they do look really, really impressive. But I think the problem is the original didn't feel very original. Other than the CG aspects to it, the visuals and like the technical side, which was obviously groundbreaking. The story was just a bit, well, it's Fern Gully. We've seen it before 30 years ago or wherever long it's been at this point. That's why it doesn't, that's why I can't understand why you absolutely adore it so much.
I hate Fern Gully.
Fern Gully's fucking ace.
I think because we were made to watch it in school.
Oh, okay.
There's like acid rain propaganda.
That's one of those things like everyone talks about with quicksand that we never experienced. Yeah. I expected we would have had acid rain at some point that was going to burn through umbrellas, and it's never really happened, has it? So
yeah, that is right though. In 80s films, I remember being like when you went over the park and especially when it'd been pissing down and there's a bit of quagmire ground. You did think, is this going to be quicksand? Am I going to get swallowed alive? Because that's what you thought, because it was everywhere.
It was like every action 80s film. Quicksand. Incredible. Right, so that's pretty much the only film that's out this week, but we've got the big day coming up on Saturday or Sunday, whatever the 25th falls, I don't know. Right, the real world. So talk to me about your Christmas Day. I think that Christmas Day is perfectly split into 2, so you can take on 2 films during that day. You've got one pre-Christmas dinner and you've got a film post-Christmas dinner. So, Matt, give us your 2 films. What's perfect for your breakfast? What's perfect for your supper?
I think because of Christmas, let's have it right, is a kid's holiday. It's not an adult's holiday. So you need to have some form of animated film in the morning to watch. I don't know why Ratatouille comes to mind, because it's not a Christmas film at all. But like, a Disney Pixar film or a film like that in the morning, absolutely fine. Then after dinner, when you're really full and you want to have a little sleep, you need a little jolt in the arm sometimes. And I know you're going to hate this, Andy, but there's nothing better than Bond at Christmas.
Yes.
God.
It's the law. It's the rule. Like,
Roger Moore Bond.
Oh no, I'm talking about like modern day Bond. I'm talking about Bond. I don't need rapey Bond.
I mean, Daniel Craig is a bit rapey, to be honest.
Well, in a more woke way, maybe. I don't know. No, I just think Bond and Christmas are synonymous, aren't they? I think, and don't get me wrong. I haven't got time to watch a film when I've got all my new shiny toys to play with. Probably not, but I think Bond and Christmas go hand in hand, really.
Yeah, so much so that ITV, when they trailed it years ago, changed the Slade song, and I'm convinced. Now, I've mentioned this before. It might have been last year, the year before. I'm convinced that they got Noddy Holder to do it, where he says the old Bonds are the best in the song. They changed the word in the trailer for Bond season on ITV over Christmas. And
he sells his soul for anything, though, doesn't he?
literally peanuts years later. So, but yeah, that was going to be me Bond after Christmas with the Roger Moore ones, because that always used to be what was on. But I don't know. It's tricky because I haven't watched a film on Christmas Day for about 15 years. Just because there's no time. You get up, new stuff to play with, and obviously children and being annoying and having to put stickers on everything. So what's normally on telly is like VH1, because that's just what happens. And then we just end up playing with the toys, and then a Christmas dinner, and then after dinner, it's like, well, play with the toys again. Like the last few years, I've got Switch games and stuff, so I can play on there, and it's just been very, very weird. Like if I watched a film on Christmas Day now, I'd be shocked with myself. But for argument's sake, and the actual question,
did I imagine something, Stu? Did I imagine the other day that you were anti going to the pub on Christmas Day?
Oh yeah, it can't be. I've done it once in my entire life. It's just full of amateurs and chancers who don't go to the pub any other time of the year.
Amateurs and chancers.
Well, they are. They're part-time pub goers. Think it's like New Year's Eve as well. Like when you have to pay to go in your own pub, that you're in there at least twice a week for the rest of the year, and then you have to pay a fiver to get in. No, Christmas Day is terrible. I mean, it is like, I get it though, because like people coming back from to seeing the parents who live away and whatever, and they want to go out and have a few beers. Fine, but when it takes 20 minutes to get served, because there's so many people in there who don't know pub etiquette, who queue in a line like the post office rather than along the bar. Nah, can't be dealing with it. So stay away from them. Don't go out. Obviously, go to my mum's, just around the corner. But that's it. Nowhere else. Just that. But years ago, I used to watch BFG before lunch, because that always seems to be on, the animated version.
Yeah.
That always used to be on telly. I mean, it might be one of them apocryphal stories that it was on twice. But I remember that being on quite a lot before dinner, and then Bond or Sound of Music afterwards. And even though it's got nothing to do with Christmas at all, that film and Mary Poppins always seem to be interchangeable with each other as to what is on Christmas Day, even though it probably hasn't happened again for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Or Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah.
There's like another one that's always there or thereabouts. Or the other film, like I always feel like there's a morning cartoon which is badly dubbed from like Belgium or something. Like a Belgian version of Lord of the Rings that's been dubbed into English for some strange reason. It feels like that's always something that happens on Christmas morning. But yeah, I do agree. I feel like the morning one, it does need to be something animated. Like the Snowman is the classic one for a reason, I think. I'm not sure it's the kind of thing I would generally go for, but that is very much loved and adored by millions. I don't know why myself, doesn't really do it for me, but I suppose that would be the one to kickstart the day. For the evening, I think I would go for something, because like you said, you're snoozing a little bit, your belly's full, you're halfway between awake and asleep at this point. You want something that if you do drift off, that you can come dive straight back into. So I will go for the Bill Murray classic Scrooged.
That is good.
Which obviously is the retelling of the Christmas Carol movie. It's set in like 1980s New York with a TV producer who's a bit of a cock. I remember seeing this at the cinema and absolutely adoring it, and being a little bit scared of the ghost of Christmas's future or whatever. When he opens up his body and you can see all the ghouls inside him. I remember that kind of terrifying me, but also exciting me. And that's why I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to horror now. So yeah, Scrooge should be the one, because I feel that you can dip in and out of that film. You never lose your place. You know exactly where you are, because it's a well-trodden path. and plus the speech that he gives at the end to TV, where he basically confesses that he loves his ex-partner who wasn't, depending on how it worked out. That speech is beautiful. It's really well done. So Scrooged for me would be your post-lunch TV. So that is the... Hang on. What did I call it again? That is the ChristmasCast Quick Question minisode for Christmas week. Please make sure you've got us on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. Please make sure that you're subscribed to all of our socials as well, at Cage Fighting Pod, and any emails to cagefightingpod@gmail.com. So for this week, Matt, would you like to say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas, one and all. But I will say, don't be too harsh on yourself this Christmas season. It is only one day, and your family would much rather just see you than worry about gifts. Please don't get yourself in a position where you're in loads of debt and you're really miserable and you've got to put this massive show on for one day. Just enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it with your friends and family, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Goodbye.
Stu, would you like to say Merry Christmas?
Yeah, everything that Matt said, unless, of course, you're spending that money on me, then who cares? I'm more important than you. You know what? We haven't mentioned in these. I'm not even going to attempt the name of these shows. How good the John Lewis advert was for dedicating that space for what they did.
I don't think I've even seen it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like this old, like mid-30s, early 40s guy, and he's got a skateboard, and you think, oh, he's trying to reclaim his youth, and he's going down like the half pipes, and obviously just falling off and knackering himself up, and he's in A&E, and he's got his hand in plaster, and then it just kind of carries on and on and on, and he's slowly getting better, and then it just cuts to opening a door, and there's this little girl with a skateboard, and then it cuts to his skateboard, and he went, yeah, I do. And it's about fostering and adoption.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you think, well, normally, obviously, it's John Lewis and it's some children's charity as well. But you think, well, for all the stuff that they do normally, and the Lily Allen from years ago and all that kind of stuff, and how the John Lewis advert became a thing with the Penguins as well, to actually give it up for charity, I thought was actually a really good thing to do.
That sounds awesome.
Feliz Navidad, everyone.
Yeah. There's a company I sometimes buy stuff for, like my baking, called Labour and Weight, and for Black Friday, rather than actually doing any deals, they just said, anything you buy, we're donating 10% to Christmas in Crisis. And I think that is such a great thing to do at this time of year, rather than worrying about, making as much profit off people as you can, and actually trying to give something back. Adding on to that, if anyone feels lonely at Christmas, reach out to us on Twitter or whatever. The DMs are open. Have a chat. We're all there. We've all been through tough times ourselves, and we're more than happy to have a conversation with anybody. So yeah, please make sure you take care of yourselves. It's always tough at Christmas, but people are there for you. So take care. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we shall see you next week.